doesn't get much better than this. The Chiefs lead the league in points scored. Nobody has given up fewer points than the Ravens, though. KC averages the most yards per play, while Baltimore gives up the fewest. I mean, look, either way, we just know it's going to be a battle. Here's Patrick Mahomes breaking down his toughest test of the season.
They have their own scheme. First off, it's different than most teams, if not all teams in the league. And then they also have the players that are talented as well as smart enough to run it. And so it does present a different challenge that you don't see every single week. But at the same time, you're ready for challenges like that. I mean, this is a top-rated defense in the league, and they're going to come with the physicality, and they're going to come. I mean, they're going to get in the playoffs, and so it's going to have that playoff atmosphere. And I'm excited to kind of be in Arrowhead and get a play against a good defense like this.
And we're excited to watch that whole thing go down. So, Jeezy, how can the Ravens slow down the Chiefs?
Slow down, contain. You're not going to stop, right? So you look at what maybe some teams have done recently to have success. The team that's played them the best defensively this year is the Arizona Cardinals.
Yes, it is.
By the way, just did a good job against Green Bay. They're last in the league in time of possession. They're 17th in defense. They've actually been doing okay defensively in Arizona. I don't think they're that talented, but when you look at what they did a couple of weeks ago, and I spoke to some people in Arizona, it was all about don't let Patrick Mahomes get the chunk plays.
Because that's what he wants.
Force him to check it down. Force him to play that pace right there. Okay, so keep everything in front of us and keep him in the pocket. They didn't want him outside the pocket. That's when he's making plays. And Arizona had 5 sacks against him, did a fantastic job against them. We talk all the time about Baltimore, the back end of their defense, Tony Jefferson, Eric Weddle. I think those guys are smart, experienced guys, maybe the best that you're going to see from that standpoint. Those guys can keep everything in front of them. Force them to play a different pace.
Play a different pace. See if Patrick Mahomes is okay with just taking the short passes all the way downfield and not getting those chunk plays. You talked about keeping him in the pocket. To me, that's the game plan. You keep this kid in the pocket. He didn't like people around him. He likes to try to create space, and he's the top quarterback in the National Football League outside of the pocket. Check out these numbers. 7.8 yards per attempt, 6th in the National Football League. 8 touchdowns outside the pocket. That's number 1 in the National Football League with almost 100 passer rating. But on the other side, the Ravens defense, they want you outside of the pocket because they're excellent at defending quarterbacks outside of the box. They only allow a 37.5% completion rate outside of the pocket. So literally only 37% completion rate with only a 3.7 yards per attempt outside of the pocket. So the game plan is clear to me. Keep Patrick Mahomes in the pocket, right? Because if he gets outside of the pocket, I'm telling you, he's dangerous.
That's tough for any defense, right? If your quarterback is scrambling.
Oh, it's real.
It's
real. It's real. The highlighted stuff. Yeah. The highlighted stuff. That's real. I couldn't believe it when I seen it. Like, how does the defense?
Numbers are crazy.
How's the defense able to keep a quarterback's passing all his numbers down outside of the pocket? That's when, because I tell you one thing, when I played with Seattle, we got excited when the play broke down offensively because of Russell's skill set. He can throw the ball all over the place. It puts so much pressure on the defense. It looks like this Baltimore Ravens, they're so connected, the back end and the front end, it's very hard to get in the yard.
Then you factor in Lamar Jackson and this run game that they have, right? To me, it's one of the greatest equalizers because the run game chews up the time of possession, right? The same thing they did to the Atlanta Falcons last week. They kept Atlanta off the football field. Their time of possession was 40 minutes, the Ravens, to 20 against Atlanta Falcons. So Lamar Jackson, to me, he is helping them in a lot of different ways that Joe Flacco couldn't because he's keeping the other offense off the field. They're running the football well. They're chewing up time of possession. They're still making plays and scoring points. Now, he does have to improve as a pocket passer and protect the football a little bit more, not turning over, because why that's important is they're not a quick score offense, right? And you're not a quick score offense, you have to protect. Your margin for error is that much smaller. But they have this great run offense that's really kept other offense off the field.
I'm really interested, though, to see how the Chiefs running game does in this, because we've really only seen the Chiefs without Kareem Hunt against the Raiders. Now you have a very different defense coming in, 3rd ranked against the run. The Ravens are much different.
And Patrick Mahomes seemed a little rushed. It seemed like he had a lot more pressure on his shoulders last week. The Oakland Raiders were not supposed to be that close in that game last week against the Kansas City Chiefs. And it just seemed like that offense is missing Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, so,
it really is.
So Spencer Ware, I mean, that's going to be on him. Damian Williams, these guys, it's a drop-off for sure. So this will be a test to see actually where they are without him and how much that running game affects the entire offense. Patrick Mahomes will certainly be tested like he hasn't yet this season. He's done well up until this point, though, with the most touchdown passes this season, and it's not even close.
Not even close.
His 41, it's 9 more than the next closest player. That's Andrew Luck. He leads Drew Brees by 11, Russell Wilson by 12, and Phillip Rivers by 13.
It don't mean nothing if you don't win no Super Bowl.
That's
true.
What?
What does it mean?
Right?
We beat Peyton Manning.